The desire to communicate with the other side, to get in touch with spiritual beings of great power, is the craving of many individuals who have a deep thirst for the occult and all that it brings. However, the events that may take place during these spiritual practices can leave one so emotionally and even physically scarred that life itself may become far too difficult to handle, leading one to wish they could block out what they had seen and experienced during the conjuration that so heavily impacted their reality. Conjuring is not a practice for the faint of heart. Yet even one with the heart of a lion can succumb to a world of insanity due to what they experience during these dangerous acts of contacting the other side, the world of the unknown. What many fail to realize is that if contacting the world of the jinn is so difficult and dangerous, it must be for a reason, and perhaps that reason should be left undiscovered. The dangerous events that can take place during a conjuration are often based on the severity of the ritual, which itself depends on the power, ranking, and type of entity one is attempting to conjure. If one is performing a conjuration through dark occult practices such as black magic, then the level of danger can be extremely high, and the events that may take place can be terrifying. If one chooses a more ruhani method of conjuration affiliated with spiritual verses, the level of danger can remain high, but certainly not as high as the ones affiliated with dark magic. The difference between ruhani conjuration and black magic conjuration is that an entity affiliated with black magic may attempt to cause greater and more intense harm to the conjurer than a ruhani conjured entity. However, this remains a matter of debate, as some practitioners believe that ruhani conjuration can be just as dangerous, and in some cases, even more dangerous than black magic conjuration. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. The events that take place during a conjuration are something one should expect, regardless of how frightening and dangerous they may be. These events are signs that the conjurer has been noticed and that the ritual is progressing in the correct direction. What takes place during a conjuration can often be difficult to understand. Therefore, in my humble opinion, the assistance of a teacher is essential, Insha'Allah. The length of a conjuring ritual can also determine when these events may take place, which is usually during the middle and towards the end of the conjuring ritual, but it is also possible to experience them early on, especially for a seasoned conjurer. It is difficult to say what one may experience during a ritual, as each person's experience can be different. However, if the ritual is one the teacher has previously performed, then the teacher can usually provide the student with some guidance about what they may encounter. Insha'Allah. The spiritual events that take place during a conjuration occur for two main reasons. In my opinion, first, to test the conjurer's mental strength, and second, to attempt to make the conjurer stop the ritual. It is a well-known fact that entities do not necessarily desire to mingle with humans as humans desire to mingle with them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. When spiritual phenomena begin, it is a strong sign that the conjurer is performing the ritual correctly. This is also when things begin to become interesting. As stated earlier, these tests are meant to examine the mental stability of the conjurer and the attempt to force the conjurer to stop the conjuring ritual. This is carried out through a series of terrifying events. The conjurer may witness scenes so frightening that death by cardiac arrest would not be uncommon. When spiritual and paranormal events begin, they are usually subtle, faint noises and quick glimpses of movement from the corner of one's eye. One may wonder whether these events happen slowly to prepare the conjurer mentally, or whether they are meant to gradually instill fear, filling the mind with doubt and concern about what may happen next, slowly destroying the conjurer's mental stability through mysterious torture of the unknown. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. As the spiritual events progress, so does the mental torture. I recall one ritual I performed where towards the middle and end of the ritual, I would hear whispers that sounded like hundreds of people speaking simultaneously, making it impossible to understand what was being said. Whenever I began my readings, the whispers would start, and when I would stop the readings, the whispers would also stop. Toward the very end of the ritual, the whispering reached a point where simply stepping into my ritual room would cause the whispers to begin. It truly took the phrase, hearing voices in my head, to an entirely different level. Doubt is common to mankind, especially when it comes to the occult. During a correctly performed conjuration, what one experiences in the beginning may cause doubt about what was seen or heard. The mind will produce countless explanations. But as the ritual continues, the signs grow stronger and doubt slowly disappears. One eventually reaches a point where doubt is replaced entirely by fear. Toward the end of a properly performed ritual, what one's eyes may witness can be beyond human comprehension. Animals shape-shifting, wild beasts roaming as if one were in a jungle, making sounds unknown to mankind, rooms transforming into deserts with horrors waiting beneath the sand. In another article, I mentioned that one of the abilities of the jinn is to alter how a person perceives reality. Many people believe jinn can physically change objects, but this is far from the truth. What they can do is deceive the eyes into believing something exists that is not truly there. When spiritual beings see that the conjurer is succeeding in the ritual, they often increase their efforts. In my opinion, they may even develop a personal vendetta against the conjurer to cause harm. They use deception so intense that the conjurer may flee from their protective circle. When this happens, the life the conjurer once had is very likely to be destroyed. Stopping the ritual because you are too afraid to continue is acceptable, but never leave your protective circle until it has been properly opened, spiritual teachers advise. Yet in such moments, what the eyes behold can cause one to forget every lesson they were taught. The only remaining thought is escape. What we consider frightening is usually what we have seen in Hollywood movies, which are creations of mankind. But during a conjuration ritual, what is observed is not a creation of mankind. Therefore, what one may witness is far beyond what the human mind can imagine. This is why some practitioners have suffered cardiac arrest during rituals, while others have lost their sanity. There was once an individual who performed a ritual involving a bowl of water. While reciting, he gazed into the bowl. Toward the end, he saw snakes and insects inside it, though nothing was physically there. When the ritual concluded, he was instructed to drink the water, which he did. Soon after, he became convinced that snakes and insects were inside his stomach. Despite countless medical examinations proving otherwise, he could not find peace. I am unsure of his final fate, but it is likely that this ritual led to his downfall. Even when a conjuring ritual is performed correctly, failure may still follow if the practitioner cannot endure its aftermath. It is possible that some rituals were deliberately designed to prevent practitioners from fully benefiting from the spiritual gifts granted by a successful performance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. If you hoped this video article would provide exact descriptions of what one may see during a conjuration, I apologize for the disappointment. What one person sees, another may never see, or may see something far worse. Words cannot justify or describe what occurs during these rituals. The mind can only compare descriptions to familiar fears, but the reality is far beyond imagination. What is seen during these rituals is something the practitioner often wishes to forget, to bury as a memory never to be revisited. Some things are better seen only once, or perhaps never at all. For even when fear is conquered once, it may still return in the nightmares it leaves behind.